Fantastic. So here we are together. I'm absolutely delighted, Louis, that you've been able to find the time to have a chat with me about AudioPen. I'm a massive, massive fan. I will be no doubt gushing throughout this quick interview about why I think AudioPen is going to be a game changer, not only for people in general, but particularly in education for teachers and in particular language teachers. But before we start, could you maybe give us a little bit of background about yourself and how you came up with the idea of AudioPen and how you view how it's going to change moving forward? Because I know that you've been adding lots of new updates, etc., recently. So I can't wait to delve in and find out more about AudioPen. So over to you, Louis. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here, and happy to have someone like you as quite a vocal supporter of the app, especially on the internet. It always makes me happy to see when you share a link to it. So thank you for that. Yeah, about myself, I've been building stuff on the internet for a few years as a hobby, and it's still sort of like a hobby outside of my day job. I live in India. I work with my family business during the day, and at night and before work in the mornings, I build stuff for fun. Um, AudioPen was, one of those things that I built that was almost accidental. I was just learning to use all of the AI APIs that were turning up in I think March of this year, and yeah, just while I was just playing around, I built a few tools on my personal website using a bunch of those APIs, um, purely with the intention of just learning how they work, and with absolutely no intention of building a product, at least building a standalone product. Fortunately for me, I got quite lucky where out of about four tools that I built, people really liked one of them, which was AudioPen, and it was a very bare bones version of what you currently see on the website. It was, at that time, it was just a button that would let you talk for, I think, a minute or two, and then it would summarize what you said, and give it to you in text. And people reached out to me, they emailed me, they sent me messages on Twitter, because I had shared this on Twitter saying, hey, I've been playing around, and here's what I built, let me know what you guys think. More people than I expected like reverted saying, "Hey, this is a useful tool. I could use this for X, Y, and Z." And that took me by surprise because I'm not an audio notes person. I never really use the audio recorder on my phone, um, and just didn't expect the sort of reaction that I got. So decided to just build it as a standalone tool because it felt like I had tried a bunch of things, and the open market was clearly sending me a signal about which one it preferred. So it made sense to kind of double down on that, and that's what I did. So I built it as its own standalone tool. I bought a domain, set up a website somewhere at the end of March this year, and yeah, ever since it's just been going well. Like people seem to like it. I'm doing my best to kind of listen to what people have to say, listen to their feedback, listen to feature requests, and just keep adding new things as much as I can or as fast as I can. While paying heed to the fact that I want the product to remain intuitive and simple for the average new user to use. So far, it's going well. Hopefully, I managed to sort of keep it that way for a while.
Well, I think it's amazing, and I'm not surprised it's really taken off. Can you give us an idea on how many subscribers you've got? I think you tweeted this the other day. How many subscribers have you got at the moment for AudioPen after
At
literally
the
just...
moment, yeah, at the moment there are about 13,000 like registered users, out of which about 1,100 are premium users. And like you don't even have to be registered to use the product. Like you can use the product without signing in. So on average, like on an average day, the site sees anywhere between 3 and 4,000 people turning up each day. A mix of folks that are signed in, not signed in, premium, not premium. Yeah, from all over the world, which is quite fascinating for someone like me to see. Given that I mean, I've not been to most of these places that people are sort of visiting the site from, so it's a nice feeling.
That's amazing. So you've given us a little sort of snapshot on what AudioPen does. You record your voice, it then creates a summary. Can you give us a more of a detailed answer to that? Presumably you're using ChatGPT technology, is that right? To then listen to
Correct.
the audio, and then you're using some sort of plugin to be able to turn it into text, to summarize it, and to create a transcript. Is that right?
Yeah, so I use the APIs provided by OpenAI, which is the company that makes ChatGPT, to do both, like to transcribe what you're saying, and then to rewrite it or summarize it in a style of your choice, and in a language of your choice as well. But yeah, so essentially, your voice gets captured, it gets sent over to OpenAI. They transcribe it, they send the text back. I send the text back to them again. They then transform the text based on instructions that you've given, and then they send the text back again. So that's what happens behind the scenes. And all you have to do is just hit record to start talking, and then hit stop when you're done.
Yeah, exactly. And you just have to sort of record your unstructured thoughts, and it will then turn them into a very nice, concise summary. And you've got the original transcript as well, but all the ums and ahs and hesitations, etc., are all removed because of the AI, which I just think is amazing.
Yeah. So on the free version, it does essentially almost exactly what you're saying, where it'll just the idea is that it lets you talk for up to 3 minutes. Just ramble if you have let's say a set of thoughts in your head that you just want to explore. But writing takes too much time. It's a lot harder to do. Whereas talking to, like, you could just talk to AudioPen like you were talking to a friend, and a really smart friend who would listen to what you're saying, kind of extract the important bits, remove the stuff that isn't needed, restructure what you said so that it flows coherently, in a nice logical manner, and then repeat it back to you. That's essentially what it does. If you're on the Prime version, you can kind of fine tune this friend to tell it how to speak back to you, or how to give you, what sort of text to give back to you. So it's not only going to summarize stuff in a vanilla sort of manner. You could tell it exactly what sort of stuff. If you want it to sound more complex, you could tell it to repeat it to you in a way that sounds more complex. If you want it to sound poetic, it can do that. You can essentially just give it a custom prompt. You can tell it to do whatever you want, or at least you can as of now, you can customize the style of the response in almost in a countless number of ways. There are people using it for all sorts of stuff. You can even customize the length. So if you want it to be extra concise, you can do that. You want it to keep the original length to some extent, it can do that as well. And yeah, I mean, that's what it does in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, one of the features I really like as a Prime user is the way that you can choose the summary to be in a bulleted list. So it means you can then talk into AudioPen, and it will then produce a really nice bulleted list of everything that you've said in a nice summarized format. It's absolutely fantastic. So I think maybe what we need to do at this point is to give the viewers a glimpse, a snapshot on how it actually works. If you're happy to share your screen, Louis, we can have a quick demo of the basics of AudioPen, and then I'm sure everyone will see very quickly how a game changer it is.
Okay, here we go. Just let me know when you can see my screen. I've just shared the AudioPen.
That's great. So I've got it in StreamYard. I'm going to click Add to Stream, and you can see it right now. So this is what the interface looks like. Do you want to talk us through the interface and how it all works?
Yeah. So before I record a note, this is what my AudioPen looks like. It's extremely simple. You don't have to pay attention to anything. All you have to do is just look at this orange button at the bottom. I've hit record, and you can see that as a Prime user, it's giving me up to 15 minutes of recording time. I can just speak about whatever I want to speak. So for now, I'm just talking about AudioPen itself. It's a super simple tool to use. My account details sit up here. I can sort of join an affiliate program at the bottom there, send feedback out here. The settings button sits out here. This is, this has all the stuff that I mentioned earlier, where you can change a style. Right now, my style is set to sophisticated, formal, and precise. I can pick one of these presets if I wish. I can just change this without any sort of restriction. I can create my own presets like I have done for these two. I can change the output length if I want here. I can even change the output and input languages. So for now, my output language is English. I can make it any one of these as well. Then there are a bunch of other things, like if you want to create an image, for instance, you can set a custom theme here along with a brand, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. You can even integrate with Zapier, through which you can connect AudioPen and your notes to 5,000 other apps all over the place. Yeah, I've just pressed pause now, stop rather, to show you that the recording's done. This usually takes a minute or so, depending on the complexity of the task that you've given it, the length as well. But yeah, in about a minute, it should work. But yeah, I'll take you through some of the other stuff. Like for instance, This is my library of notes. As a Prime user, I can filter through stuff with tags that I've set for my library. And of course, you can go back to the old notes you want. You can view the original transcript by clicking here. So this is exactly what I said. This is what it gave me. I can then copy and paste this wherever I wish. I can restyle it if I want. So for instance, if I'm not happy with the kind of style it's given me out here as a Prime user, I can click on this button, set another sort of style here. Like, let's say if I wanted this in a bulleted style, I could say, okay, do it in a bulleted style, change the language, and then rewrite it. I won't do that right now because the original transcript is still getting done. But yeah, I can also add tags to each note depending on whatever I want. And yeah, save stuff here. Okay, you can see that my transcript from what I mentioned earlier is done. So this is what it's come out with. If this is the original transcript that I just spoke, and this is what it's given me. So you can see that it's a lot, well structured. It's got a couple of paragraph breaks. It's explaining exactly what I said. I can go ahead, add tags to it. I can save it to my library if I wish. If I'm not happy with the output, like I mentioned earlier, I can click on restyle, change this again. I won't do that now. I can download the audio as a Prime user if I want. So if I want to save the audio that I just recorded and use it in a different app, I could do that. The audio just stays with the app for about anywhere between 15 minutes and an hour. After that, you can't. It's not accessible to anyone. Yeah, and one last feature is you can create a shareable image. So for instance, here, if I want to share this particular note as an image on, let's say, Twitter or Instagram, I could do that just by saying create. And it'll start creating an image in the background. And yeah, you'll see in a second that it'll take me to a page where that image is sort of ready to be shared. So here are my custom colors. You can see my custom branding at the bottom. The note is ready to be shared as an image. I can just right click, save as an image, or sort of copy it and then save it to my copy and paste it to wherever I want to share it rather. Let me see, anything else that I've missed out on?
What
Yeah,
about
one
super
useful
summaries?
feature is
Could you tell us about super
yeah,
summaries?
I was just going to do it. So there's an interesting feature that's available for Prime users, which is you can combine multiple notes into a single note if you wish. So for instance, let's say I have multiple notes about a particular topic. Let's say product design. These are duplicates. Let me just delete one of these. I can select multiple notes out here. So say 1, 2, and 3. And do something, which is I can create a super summary. So what it'll do is it'll take the original transcripts of those 3 notes and then create a single note that makes sense of all of them in a single context. So it's useful if you've been collecting thoughts or notes about a particular topic or interrelated topics over a period of time. Yeah, because it kind of helps you bring together disparate thoughts into a single piece of content. So whether it's you want to write an essay and you've been collecting thoughts about a particular topic for a while, or even if you're just recording, let's say, book notes from a particular book that you're reading, you can combine them all into one big essay as well. Yeah, I mean, it takes a while. Again, it takes, depending on the size and complexity of the notes, it takes about a minute. But yeah, I'm gonna let that happen in the background. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, this should take about a minute, and when it's done, it'll show up in my library. But yeah, that's roughly what AudioPen can do.
Amazing. So I think if you stop sharing your screen, I can then share my screen, and I can go through some of the sort of language features in particular and demonstrate these live. So if I go to here we are, Chrome tab, and click share like this, you should now be able to see that. Is that right?
Yep, I can see that.
Fantastic. So if I go up to settings here, as you can see, we've got the input language, we've got auto detect, and then the output language, I've chosen French. This is only a feature that you can do in Prime, I think I'm right in saying. But if I
so I've just made it available for the free version as well. So it was a Prime only feature, but yeah, but it was highly requested by folks that wanted to try it out before upgrading, and I felt like it was a fair request, right? Like, because a lot of folks just don't speak English. So now you can change the output language even with a free account.
That's amazing. That's going to be an absolute boon. Thank you for that exclusive. I'm really excited to hear that. So let's demonstrate it live, therefore. So I've got my input language here. I've got my output language as French. I'm now going to go down to the bottom and click done. And now let's have a go at recording something. So, alors maintenant, je parle en français et comme vous va voir, AudioPen va créer une sommaire de ce que j'ai dit en français. Alors, ça va être vraiment quelque chose de super. Je pense que ça va être vraiment merveillant. Et j'espère que tous les professeurs de français vont essayer cet outil immédiatement parce que c'est vraiment super. OK. So I'm just speaking in a bit of French there, and we'll see what AudioPen makes of what I've said.
That's some good French. Are you a French teacher as well, or like
I
is it
was
just
a
language?
French teacher. Yeah, I was a French
Oh,
teacher
wow.
for 13 years, and for the last 13 years, I've been an independent languages consultant, trying to find ways in which I can show teachers tools which I think can enhance their practice and can help in the classroom. And as soon as I saw AudioPen, I immediately got it and understood what it was all about, and went for the lifetime deal straight away. And you can see that it's made a pretty good job. I've chosen the
I think it misheard AudioPen as OJPen.
Yeah. But I can always go in and edit this, can't I? So I could then,
Yep.
for example, here, I can go to change this to AudioPen like this, and you can see.
Another thing you can do here is if for instance, it mishears a particular proper noun, you can edit the original transcript. So if you click on the view original transcript button out there, you can change the word here and then restyle the note. So if you change the word OJPen here to AudioPen,
Okay.
and then just restyle that note, it'll just redo the note with the correct spelling of the transcript.
But you're in here. If I click here.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so let me do that right now. And then do I just click rewrite?
Yeah, just click rewrite. Unless you want to save an original copy, then you could say save original copy and rewrite as well.
That's okay. So it's rewriting.
It should take the same amount of time.
Okay.
But yeah, it should result in a rewritten note.
So while it's doing that, let me sort of share some thoughts I've had about how this could be particularly useful for language teachers. I was thinking that in class, if a teacher wanted to record a quick note and have the text appear in the target language, they could do that. There we are. That's worked brilliantly. They could, once they had a meeting with a parent, they could then record their thoughts in English if they wanted to, or in the target language. They could use it for maybe reflecting on a lesson plan and what they need to do to write the next lesson plan. So write down some quick ideas about maybe some support they need to give to a student, etc. If they're planning a trip, they could write down lots of different audio notes and then make a super summary, which I know is a prime feature, but that would be another way that they could do that. But the fact now that in the free version you can change the output language, I think that's really, really amazing. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen at this point and just encourage everyone to sign up to AudioPen. And if they want to use the Prime version, I'm going to add an affiliate link in the description on YouTube when I put this on YouTube. And people, if they want to use the affiliate link, it does mean I get a little bit of compensation for that. So there's which would be lovely. So there is the annual cost and then the lifetime deal. Can you maybe, Louis, just explain the differences in cost there?
So both are non-recurring subscriptions. So if you sign up to the lifetime deal at the moment, it's priced at $120. You will get access to the tool for as long as the tool is alive. So hopefully that's a very long time. But yeah, I mean, I can't promise like 50 years of access, but hopefully five and above. At least that's my plan. And if you sign up to the annual deal, you get access for 365 days. After which you can continue to renew your plan, but it won't auto renew, so it won't auto charge your credit card because I just generally don't like tools that sort of keep charging me. Sometimes I've forgotten I'm using a tool and I'll just see a charge on my card and be like, what the hell happened here? So yeah, you won't have to worry about that. It's just a one-time fee, and I'll email you at the end of the year when it gets over. And you can choose whether you want to renew it or not.
Fantastic. So how much is the annual deal as opposed
to... The annual
to...
is $60. The annual is $60 at the moment.
Okay, so $60.
I'm still experimenting with pricing, so it may go up in the near future. I don't know. I've been consistently sort of increasing the price depending on the split between the annual and the lifetime, as well as the number of people signing up every day. I don't want too many people signing up because I want to make sure it grows sort of slowly and steadily, rather than has an influx of people that kind of want to take it in different directions. Because I'm building the tool alone, so I want to make sure I stay focused on people that really like the product. Yeah,
that's amazing. So could you give us a quick understanding, a quick sort of glimpse into your roadmap of where you want to take AudioPen in the next few weeks or few months, because everything's moving so quickly, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment I'm not thinking too far ahead. I'm just looking at immediate customer feedback, and trying to change that stuff. I'm definitely curious about this whole angle about people like teachers using it. I'm not a teacher, I never have been, so I don't I've learned a lot from you, from the stuff you shared with me as well. But at its core, I want to keep it simple. I don't want to be making promises that the tool is going to change drastically in the next few months. I think at least 60 or 70% of its core will remain the way it is. There are a bunch of features that I've added recently, like the ability to upload audio, which I didn't mention in the demo. There's also a feature where you can now paste existing text notes that you have. So let's say you have a note that you've saved earlier and you want to kind of transform it, you can do that as well. Both prime features, but yeah, they were highly requested by people. In the coming weeks, at least, I'm focusing on just increasing the efficiency of the app. So not that many sort of superficial changes that are announcement worthy, but just a lot of stuff in the back end that makes it faster, more reliable, which is a lot of unsexy, complex work, basically.
But it's very important. People just want
got to be
work.
done. Yeah, it's got to be done. So I think I want to focus on that. I do want to add a small feature for the front end, which is the ability to pause a recording while you're recording it. So hopefully that comes soon. And then I do want to build more integrations as well. So for instance, right now I've got an integration with Zapier, which basically lets you transfer the notes that you've saved into other apps. So there are a lot of people using it to transfer their notes into something like Notion, or whatever other app that connects with Zapier that you're using. But Zapier is quite expensive, so that I've had a few requests from people to make it to build integrations with other more affordable apps. So I want to do that. But yeah, everything in time.
That sounds amazing. So just to clarify, with the upload feature, which icon are we looking at?
The bottom left. The bottom left of the interface. Yeah.
Fantastic. And does it have to be in a certain format? Does it have to be MP3 or WAV?
There are about 7 formats that it accepts, and I've listed them all out. Just after you click that button, you'll see the formats that it accepts. But yeah, MP3, M4A, MP4 as well, all work. But there's a cap of 25 MB per upload.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Louis, for finding the time to chat with me about AudioPen. I genuinely, hand on heart, think it's a fantastic tool, and I can't wait to share it more with people, because I just think that for the education market, I think that there are teachers, not only language teachers, but although I love the language input and output options, but I think for teachers in general, what a fantastic way of getting their unstructured thoughts down in a concise format, which they can use for reflection and all the other ways in which we talked about. So I just think it's absolutely brilliant. So thank you so much for your time today. I know you're a very busy gentleman, so I really appreciate it. And I really hope that this video helps to raise awareness of the power of AudioPen, and that you get even more thousands and thousands of subscribers as a result of this video. Fingers crossed.
Thanks, Joe. Thank you once again for being such a vocal supporter. Really appreciate it. I just want to reiterate that every time I see you post about it on Twitter, I always smile. So yeah, very grateful to have people like you, who not only sort of share the tool, but also share their feedback on it, to help it improve. So yeah, thank you, and thank you for having me as well. Pleasure to be here.
Well, it's my pleasure as well, honestly, and I will carry on doing so, because I just think it's a great tool, and I think the world needs to know more about it. So thank you again.
Thanks. Cheers.